See no reason why not to. Why not? But no, Petal Ban from 501st is tempting maybe a Cruel pick for them. They banned that hero away. It's a good counter to Rhyme and Cruel, two very good meta picks at the moment. It's also very good weapon power. And so Impunity weren't quite expecting that ban. They're going to have to try and maybe slightly change their strategy around. I think, yeah, the Saw first pick would not be a smart decision. Saw does have counters. If he's allowed to scale to late game, he'll be fine. And also even a Koshka could do quite well at trying to stop him push that early game advantage. But they are going to first pick the Churnwalker. Impunity are going to play it. And so they don't care what 501st are going to do. They want to pick up their Churnwalker. I think Churnwalker is so good at the moment. He just works. His chains that deal damage to everyone. And then, as you said, the Torment is so good. It's such a good ability. It's between a Forced Accord and a Polite Company in terms of how far it goes. But it means so much in the fights.
Yeah, and especially when it comes down to just Churnwalker's kit overall, as you said, it's just Churnwalker, a great hero. We don't see enough of him, and my thinking on that is I believe that not enough teams have practiced him yet, put the time in to give him a chance and make it work out in their comp. But I do think Churnwalker can have a specific place in the current meta, if so, with he has great abilities there, especially being able to use the Trespass. It's a good form of CC. It's AoE, and if you've got hooks on everyone, can be up to a triple stun, which can be so massive in a team fight. And now we do see the Lyra pick up in return, and the Sky ban. I was wondering for the second ban coming out from the side of 501st, would they, have watched yesterday's matches and knowing that Impunity, they want to go for this Churnwalker Saw comp, or perhaps by picking up that Lyra, it could suggest 501st themselves with this next pickup could go for the Saw themselves.
I think 501st really want Cruel or Rhyme. Petal and Sky are the two kiting heroes that counter Cruel. If in previous patches if Cruel was picked up, you'd say, right, Petal, Sky, maybe a CP Kestrel, and we'll pick, and that'll be fine against it. But 501st banning away Petal and Sky, the two main counters, they're going to go for Fortress Lyra. So that has to be a carry Fortress, probably Jungle, Crystal. And I see no reason to not go Saw for Impunity. It's great against Fortress. He has a weak early game. His jungle takes ages to farm. So when he's farming jungle, Saw's pushing turrets. This is a really nice comp for Impunity. I'm sure 501st Legion have done their homework. They will have looked at the games yesterday and be expecting this. So I really hope that it's obviously something very off meta from 501st. So it must be their counter to this Saw Churnwalker comp is a Fortress. I'm excited to see how it works. I do not know if chains apply on Fortress's Wolves. It kind of would be a good thing and a bad thing, because if it hits them, it resets its cooldown anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But that is something that hopefully we'll get to see in this match, because it applies on jungle minions, but not lane minions, and not Kraken, and not turrets. So probably not. I'm going to say no on Wolves. But the Rhyme last pick from Impunity, just a solid pick to round out their comp. Strong early game jungler is Rhyme, really good against melee like Fortress. And so their last pick, 501st, they've got Vox they could try, but that's terrible against Saw. Baron could work, but then again, you're going to struggle in the early game. Late game would be fine, but again, you're going to struggle tons when Saw is strongest. So maybe even a Ringo could work for 501st. It has quite a decent range, and it might beat the Saw.
And with that, oh my, they're going to go for the Celeste pick. And this is another one of those late game kind of picks, but it's more so for the fact that once Celeste hits level 8, she's going to have that extra range on the Heliogenesis, and it helps them fight against Saw, kind of can outrange them in that sense. But if they get a hook on them and they get tormented in, it's going to be quite dangerous. Of course, you have the core collapse available for you there. But just looking at Impunity's comp, I really thought with that last pick that they were going to go for, we could see the Reza again. But they're just going to go for the more OP pick of Rhyme, who's just currently so strong in this patch. And you can imagine the lockdown potential they've got on the side of Impunity now that they have the suppressing fire for the slows, and as I mentioned, all the CC coming out from Churnwalker, and they're going to be able to get the chill wins off for the roots. It's a very, very strong comp looking at it right now, and I'm a bit worried for the side of 501st, how they're going to fight against this.
I have to agree. I think Impunity have got exactly what they wanted, and 501st have tried to counter it. The Celeste has always been seen as good against Saw, because once you hit level 8, you outrange him massively. He's very immobile. Once he's suppressing fires, you get an easy stun with your core collapse. But there's only one stun for 5-0 First Legion. They can't do what I've seen some teams counter Saw with, which is a Catherine and Celeste, because then as soon as Source uses his pressing fire, Catherine stuns him out of it so he doesn't get stacks. Then Celeste stuns, get that chain CC and burst him down. Even in early game, you're probably going to win that fight if you get the double CC, because he won't have a block in time. But with only one stun, Saw needs one block. He'll block that stun and be fine. Or he can try and dodge it and try and block the Atlas Pauldron, because you know there's going to be an Atlas on most likely Fortress. But I really think Impunity have got the advantage in draft. We're going to have to see what 5-0 First are going to try and do against this. And the early game is going to be so rough for 5-0 First. Fortress, terrible farm clear, terrible speed. Celeste is quite quick, but Fortress is so slow. Celeste, early game, has quite good farm clear in the lane. But with that being reduced to 50% damage on Helios as opposed to basic attacks, it's going to be tough for her to farm up. She's going to take a lot of damage from Saw. So I think if Impunity play this well, they should be fine.
Yeah, and it's not even about playing this too well. Impunity have a fairly easy game here because through the draft they've mostly won. It's whether 500 First can play this to their best that they might be able to pull something out of this match. But you look at the matchups here, both in lane and jungle, and that's why I mean when it plays so much into Impunity's hands. And you said it correctly, saying Impunity probably got the draft they want. So with that, I do think there's a possibility for 500 First, if they manage to make it to the late game, that they could bring it back. They've got a decent front line. The Lyra is going to be there to help provide the peel for the Celeste, keeping them off with the Bright Bulwark and obviously sustain through the Imperial Sigil. But I do worry about the early game, as you said. That's going to be so tough. With that Fortress into Rhyme, he's just jumping exactly Rhyme, not having to worry about anyone to chase down. So it was weird that we saw a lot of kiting heroes such as the Petal and Sky being banned out on the side of 500 First, and so they obviously don't go into that, but they kind of forgot about the fact that, well, the Rhyme was still on the table, and now they're going to have to go into, there's no one to kite out the Rhyme because they banned out all the people that were going to kite out Rhyme for their own comp.
Yeah, so interesting rotation from Impunity. They're going for early game aggression as we expected, but they're doing it by Saw getting this Elder Tree, and he will be able to secure it most likely with a Dank Shank. But he almost dies to the Lyra. If Lyra saw how low Saw was, she might have even gone in. But that does mean DefQ going to get some boots probably and come back to lane, but he's not going to push the wave that quickly. Yes, Impunity able to farm up quickly and port home and all get boots, but that wasn't that good of a rotation from them because just it took so long for Saw to take that tree, and he basically died to it. Now Saw's going to try and push this wave up, not quite level 2 in time, and Celeste is going to try and stop him as quick as she can. He's definitely going to go aggressive. Cordovar is in lane, but no, definitely not going to go aggressive quite yet. He's waiting for a bit longer before he, maybe level 2, before he actually decides to go against Revenger X.
Yep, Revenger X already taking a lot of damage there, and the Imperial Sigil was there to heal them up, but that's not for another 10 seconds. Cordovar, however, by putting himself in that frontline position, is at a bit of risk himself, and we'll see he manages to get another hook and chain off and just kind of trying to push Revenger X back from any of this farm. We see that DefQ doing their best to keep up here, seeing at 13 over to Revenger X's 13, but right now they're kind of just playing it passive, and if we look over to the jungle instead, Blue City able to pick up that outer triumph for himself. So even though it is the side of Impunity should have the advantage here, I think we'll have to see once Blue City makes the rotation up.
This can be aggression from DefQ in the lane. He's now much more aggressive positioning. Cordovar is going low. He might be in trouble. 2 chains.
The Torment pulling them back, and DefQ almost gets Jasmine. They're fairly low, but at the moment with only one weapon blade, it isn't going to be enough damage. They did decide to go for that of the light shield early on, knowing that they're a fairly easy target, and it shows a bit of respect to that of Revenger X on the Celeste.
They just give up the turret. 5-0 First just gave up their tier 1 turret because they're Celeste porting home, so I think they've just decided that Saw's going to get it, and they're not worried.
Well, Cordovar, Jasmine also going home on that Lyra did actually get cancelled out initially by Cordovar, but either way, you're right about that. The first turret going to fall 3 minutes into the game. DefQ going solo himself. He will get taken down by 501st. You gotta respect for auto attacks on those on that Celeste, and they get the double kill for themselves. However, Revenge very low now. Look at this positioning by Blue City, just coming up behind the enemy team. There's going to be the Imperial Sigil keeping Revenge alive, but he's going to run in there, get the chill wins, gets the root, but dies. And now we see 501st punishing the, I guess you could call it a bit of cockiness, maybe a bit too confident for Impunity in their team comp.
Yeah, definitely. They got the tier 1 turret, so that's worth dying for, especially with a comp like this. You need to get those turrets, push your advantage. And I think Rhyme got a bit of jungle away from Fortress. Yeah, he is quite a bit ahead. But I don't quite understand the decision for Blue City to not be with his team. I think that's necessary for them to stick together. And then once he tried to 1v3, it wasn't the best decision. But XP Jasmine in a tough position. Torment pulls him back. Will it be enough?
We'll see Torment up in a few more seconds if he can keep a hook on, but it does fade away. Blue City now moving up to the lane and just making sure that Cassandra doesn't make their way up from the jungle as well. There's going to be the core collapse, stunning out Quarterball. They're going fairly low, but the root lands onto Celeste, and Rhyme is going to pick up that kill. Jasmine fairly low on the turret themselves. Blue City trying to steal farm away from Cassandra, doesn't manage to, but right now you can see Impunity just focusing on getting the second turret. Although they made a bit of a mistake by when taking that initial turret, they are going to get this.
Keep trying to step himself out. He does it.
I am wrong. Oh my, the caster's curse kicking in bad today as we see Saw going down early. There's going to be the Winter Spires onto Revenger X, but the Heliogenesis are down all over the floor. They need to be careful where they step. Cassandra uses Attack of the Pack, and this fight could go in favor of 501st as they're going to be able to pick up Quarterball.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that you cannot hook and chain Fortress Wolf, sorry. I'm pretty sure that they just went straight through onto the heroes. Now, DefQ, you can try and farm this wave under turret. I don't think Revenger X is going to get much turret damage against this Saw. But yeah, DefQ was stuffed stepping for his life at the end there. He was trying to get the turret. He was trying his absolute hardest to take that down, and did in the end manage to do so, trading his life for it. Now, Revenger X trying to push by himself, but 2 turrets have already fallen. First are in a bit of trouble, and Rhyme was behind Fortress in terms of levels, but Fortress so far behind in terms of items. I have no idea what Cassandra's building. He's going Tension Bow, Storm Crown, Aftershock all at the same time, which is just not a good build. You haven't needed a tier 3 item. Rhyme has a Shatterglass, and Cassandra is still like 800 gold away from getting any tier 3.
And they're doing 3 items at the same time, I believe. They picked up a Stormguard banner in that shop as well, and we see Impunity putting a lot of pressure down here, but they do need to respect the area of denial that 501st have, that they're able to put a lot of damage down. And
3 chains
around with the suppressing fire. You're right about that. Triple chains up, but they're gonna get pushed back by Attack of the Pack. Fountain was used on the side of Impunity, still up for 501st, so 501st actually in a bad position to fight this. Blue City with Valkyrie over the wall. There's a suppressing fire. Can they pick up the kills? No. Core collapse going to stop DefQ from chasing in, and 501st using the Fountain still in a better position than Impunity. They could look to win another team fight for themselves, and it looks like they're going to go into bat of Blue City. He gets caught out with the core collapse, but the turnaround as we see DefQ putting down damage and Impunity managing to hold out.
Yeah, no one dies, no one gets a kill, and there's no gold mine either. I thought Impunity might try and sneak that away. It could have guessed that the members of 501st are going to back off, and Saw's now trying to solo the gold mine, because why not? Yeah, the Impunity are going to start it up. One thing that Chumwalker does so well is if they try and steal gold mine now, he'll just chain them. They're going to take massive damage from the Saw. There we go, from Saw's executing that gold mine with his roadie run, and so they really just couldn't do that. Now DefQ going to try and farm this wave up. And one thing that Impunity need to recognise is that they do not need to take that tier 3 turret for another about 8 minutes, because really you cannot push the game to win. Take those 2 Vein Crystal turrets unless you are massively ahead. Because that tier 3 turret is fine, you can take that, but you kill them, you try and push down the Vein Crystal turrets, and they've already respawned by the time you're trying to push it. That is Chumwalker, second item Echo. That is going to be some tormenting games. Here we go.
Yeah, then we see the hook and chain does land onto It's going to be attack of the pack used in defense from 501st. The Solar Storm coming out, and Vainglory landing onto Cassandra. They might be able to pick up the kill. They get it. Core Collapse not going to land and stun up Blue City, so he's going to be able to walk away. The portal used from Jasmine to get out of danger, but DefQ hunting down Revenger X. Needs to be careful of that Crystal Sentry. MVP looking for a kill in this match. Not sure if he's going to find it. Blue City turning their attention to it, but he gets him.
He goes
the
down.
MVP picking up the kill alongside Revenger X. Both back to base together with Fashion, although Revenge X cancelling it there. Does think they have enough energy to continue the chase, although they are quite low. Those auto attacks still doing a fair amount. Can they get the Supernova off? And they do! Exploding Saw as he runs in there for the roadie run. He's not even going to be able to... Churnwalker isn't even going to be able to get the kill of Satisfaction onto Revenger X, and Revenger X 8-1-0 on the Celeste, doing work, all 8 kills of the team. And I think, you know, that is kind of what 501st were playing around of the Celeste getting so built up. But Impunity kind of giving away these kills, I would beg to...
Yeah, it seems a tad unnecessary for Impunity, but that's a lovely Vainglory.
Yep, and the kill going back over in favor of Saw. They did stick around a bit too long the side of 501st. That Vainglory proving so strong. And always Blue City landing these Valkyries in these fights. It's good to see that making full use of the CC available to them. But I do mean that what we were talking about before, maybe Impunity had given over a few too many early kills.
Cassandra is dead.
But it's still gold in the end of the day.
Yeah, it is. Revenger X is going to get a kill, but that's the lovely ultimate au revoir. He gets the return. Torment Echo just for the lols. Now, Blukes, he doesn't get the chill wins. He wasn't Frostgut. Didn't get the Frostgut applied. And for DefQ, his strategy is, I don't care if I die. I want to push lane. Saw push lane and Saw do nothing else. So Blukes is going to get a bit of farm and port home. All of us going to, no, not die. He's got the boots. Will he survive this?
He probably won't. Oh, he uses the Crucible as well. He needs the damage from his team. If he gets the futility of life, no. Saw not close enough. Perhaps if Saw ran a bit closer initially and then used that suppressing fire, the futility of life could have kept Churnwalker alive, and that's something very unique and cool about his kit. The fact that the damage dealt onto the enemies will also make Churnwalker more tanky, and I think that is such a cool aspect for one of the support heroes in Vainglory.
Yeah, it creates such an interesting counterplay where if you're low, the best decision is to go in and try and fight. And if you try and run away, you're more likely to die. So that is really something that only Churnwalker has. It's really exciting. Something like a Lyra is if you back off, you heal up, you can back off. With Churnwalker, you have to be fighting to try and heal up. And he could be out of position. He's going to try and get 2 chains. 3 chains, not quite, only going to get 2. But where's Saw? Where's Rhyme?
It's going to be the suppressing fire and a lot of damage for Vainglory, proving big for the side of Impunity as they pick up the double kill onto that Saw. Blue City going to chase down Cassandra. Attack of the pack not even going to be useful in this fight as they get pushed away so hard. And there's going to be the triple kill over onto DefQ, and the ace being that they're going to move their attention to that of Goldmine and that 3rd turret. That you're right about when you said they can take it, but after this point they kind of have to wait for Kraken to come up unless they get a huge advantage where they feel confident enough to push into the base and take both turrets and the crystal at once. They'd
have to get like 2 aces in a row without shopping, and that is tough. It's doable for someone like a Saw, but it is very tough. And that was such a fantastic play from Impunity. They looked at the Lyra build, they went, okay, she's gone for Fountain into Atlas. Perfect. Let's go for the chain RCC. Churnwalker gets this double stun with his ultimate. Rhyme gets a double stun with his ultimate. They just chain those 2 together so well. And then, even though you don't expect to get a Crucible against a Rhyme Saw Churnwalker combo, you need to, because if you don't block that CC, you're going to get blown up by the Saw, who's built minion candy now. He's got so much damage. Soulblade into a Tyrant. But it's interesting, Saw's gone for an Aegis as opposed to going Glass Cannon, which we normally see, because he's just respecting Revenger X, and it is a double Crystal Power comp. We didn't know what Cassandra was going for. He built Weapon Blades early on, suggesting it might be an on-hit Tension Bow Aftershock, and he's gone for Aftershock into Storm Crown, so it's going to be lots of Crystal Power. That Aegis dealing extra, and Blukesty doing a bit of work. Jasmine could be out of position. Nice rotation from Impunity, and they're going to fight under the Sentry. If Churn gets 4 chains, they win the fight.
Yep, and we'll have to see as Churnwalker quarter one that Churnwalker to be precise up in the front line, uses the trespass, stuns out a few of them, echoes the trespass so he can use it again, this time not focusing on the torment, noticing that 500 first close enough for the kills. Impunity going to pick up another ace for themselves. Now the base is open. They've got 9 seconds on Jasmine, and the carries both 10 seconds above up before they get back on the fold. So they're just going to push it into the base, maybe for the win, because they take the first turret, they take the second. Quarter boy just being in that front line, being a nuisance for the enemy team, and they get that first crystal of the game. Impunity going to be taking that one with ease. Well, I would almost say, I want to say with ease. They looked a lot cleaner into the mid game once they found that footing, but that early game, they gave over so many early kills. We saw Revenger X with like 8 kills about, I'd say, something like 7 minutes in.
Yeah, it was a really good start for 5-0 first. It looked like they were going to be fantastic. It looked like they were going to be able to get the kills and stop that Saw snowball. But the real problem for 5-0 first was, yes, Revenger X got tons of kills early on. Saw traded his life a couple of times, but Saw traded his life for turrets. Saw didn't trade his life for kills. Saw was like, right, our comp is not about killing Revenger X, it's about taking their objectives. We don't care if we are behind in kills. They ended up just barely ahead in kills at the end of the game, 11-10. But Saw was just like, right, I'm going to take this turret, and if I die, fine. Celeste didn't get any objectives. 5-0 first were unable to secure a Crystal Sentry, a Gold Mine, or a turret, or really, or any farm. I think actually Cassandra did not steal a single camp away from Bluxty. And so 5-0 first, even though they got some kills, they weren't able to push it to objectives, which is exactly what Saw did every single time.
Yeah, and you've got to wonder now, I did talk about the bans we'd be seeing in that first draft probably going to be meta. That do you think 500 first either want to perhaps priority pick Saw themselves, play it against Impunity, take it away from them, or we might just see some more targeted bans such as that Saw? We could even ban.
Yeah, I think the Saw pick for 5-0 first isn't the smartest decision unless they've practiced it themselves. Because Saw, as I'm sure lots of people will know, he looks really good now, but if you try and play him by yourself, he looks terrible. He's really not easy to play. Despite, I suppose, as a new player, Saw's really easy because you just stand still and kill everything. But once it gets to this professional level, you have to be skilled at stutter stepping, good at timing, knowing when to push, when to back off, when to port home, when to try and fight, when to try and not fight and just siege. And it's really tough to do. Impunity have really practiced it a lot and know how to do it really well. So I think 5-0 first, if they can do that, sure, pick it up yourselves and go for it. But I don't think it's going to get through to them if they don't first pick it, because now Impunity on B side are going to second pick Saw if it's left open. I think the Churwalker ban might make sense. It would be good if 5-0 first just don't want to play against it. And I think if they haven't practiced it again, they shouldn't play it themselves. This comp from Impunity is not easy to pull off. Impunity make it look easy. You land those chains, you do damage with Saw, and everyone's just going to die. So I think, yeah, target bans is probably the way to go, but that is enough speculation. Draft is ready. Without further ado, let's head on into the draft.
Yes, and with that, this time we have 500 and First Legion. They're going to be able to pick first, and Impunity over on the red side going to be picking and banning second, I should say. So with that, we will see what the first ban to come out is. It is, I mean, they still could go for that of the meta. If you let the meta slip through, there's no reason why Impunity wouldn't pick it up like last time when we saw the Rhyme slipping through into the draft. So they are going to go for that Black Feather. And now, what do you think Impunity will do in this situation? Previously, we did see the Black Feather ban on their side and the Petal ban on the side of 500 first.
Yeah, I don't think Impunity will stick with the Petal ban. I don't think that makes much sense for them. They don't care about those kiting heroes. They'll just happily play against it with a Saw and a Churnwalker. They'll just pull people together. And one thing we saw them ban yesterday was they pick Churnwalker and ban Taka. They feel that Taka is a great counter to Churnwalker and to their Saw comp, which they love to play. Now, 5-0 first, do they have the courage to first pick Churn or Saw? I hope they do, because they're going to pick the Ardents. They leave Churn open. Impunity, easy pick for them. They're confident with their Churnwalker. It's fine against Ardent, against Lyra, against anyone. They're going to first pick that. And now, they force a Saw ban, otherwise Impunity get exactly the same comp and they just execute it exactly the same way.
Yes, I totally agree with you that if the side of 501st do not ban this Saw, it is going to go through. So I see no reason why 501st wouldn't do that, unless they are just looking for a very quick late game, or they could have confidence that they can make it to the late game, so they are going to ban Alpha Kestrel. And now
So, 501st?
I am just so certain that Impunity can pick up this Saw. If they do, well, they just love proving casters wrong, don't they?
Yeah, I think if I was a betting man, I'd put a considerable amount of money that Impunity are going to go for Saw here. Unless, again, they just want to try something different. That really could work, because obviously they don't need to pick Saw. They could last pick it. It's not going to be banned away from them now, so they're pretty certain that 501st Legion will not pick it themselves. So that they could just wait. There's no need for them to pick it. They're going to pick the Reza, and the Saw's still available for them. But also, if the comp doesn't work, they don't have to pick.
Yeah, and we saw yesterday how well this comp leads on to that of the Saw pickup, the Reza Churnwalker, the burst that's available there. And you made a very good point of the fact that they don't necessarily have to pick up Saw right now, and they can just wait for that. However, by picking that Reza, it does look very likely they are still planning to go down that path. And as you mentioned before, 501st more than unlikely to pick up the Saw for themselves, because you're right about that thing of the team has to have practiced it. And it's another thing with how Churnwalker being picked up by Impunity, I think, is one of the few teams who have really practiced and put the time into getting used to that. And the final thing that kind of puts it all together is the teamwork kind of thing that's there. I think Impunity have great teamwork, and it does help the Saw go along, because you can just be a Saw up in lane, but if you're not pushing as a team to really go through, you kind of get the early game but get shut down towards before you can even finish the game out.
Yeah, I think the Rona is going to be tough if Impunity do decide to pick Saw against it. And what 501st going to round this comp out with? A Sky could work, but Reza's going to destroy that. So they're going to go Celeste again. They're going to lane, try and counter Saw with late game. It's tough. It could work. Maybe that's going to be a jungle Celeste, but Reza does really well against jungle Celeste, because Celeste won't have the items to farm up. Reza will get his aftershock quite early on, and I see no reason to not pick Saw. I guess Rona could do quite well against it, but Rona's melee and Saw's ranged, so you're going to be you're going to have a lot of trouble against the Saw surviving this early game. So their last pick, they also could go for a duel and go much more aggressive, diving in onto the Celeste, but that's not what we tend to see Impunity play. So they're going to pick the Vox instead. So changing up the decision, Vox trying to kite away from that Rona.
Well, this is interesting, and as I said, they did have a bit of trouble with that Celeste previously, so deciding to not pick up the Saw this time, not such a bad idea. However, there's just so much early game potential in that comp of Reza Churnwalker Saw that I'm a bit surprised they didn't pick it up, and instead, by picking Vox up, he's kind of contradictory to that of the Reza pickup, with Reza being quite strong early, yet kind of fading out to the mid-late game. He falls off a bit, but Vox, a very strong pickup indeed. And alongside of that of the Churnwalker, it might work out very well, because Churnwalker, if he's able to hook all of them, pull them in, and then use the Trespass to stun them up, provides a very easy opportunity for the Reza to go in with that of Never Form Detonator, and for the Vox to land his wait for it. So I still like the team comp coming out from the side of Impunity, but they have given a bit more of a chance over to the side of 501st with that Celeste going into late game to have a possible comeback.
Yeah, I definitely think that Impunity were just holding Saw over the heads of 501st. They're like, right, we're not going to pick it, leave our carry till last, and then see what you're going to go to try and counter it. Then we're going to counter that. Vox, great against Rona, great against Celeste as well, because he can sonic zoom out of core collapses, and if he gets within range, Celeste cannot run away. Vox is going to be able to keep up as well with those sonic zooms. So I really like that Vox last pick, and DefQ is comfortable on Vox. another thing, Vox Chellwalker is a combination we've seen work out really well in the past. Those bounces really help with the chains. It's just so much amplified damage all together if everyone is stuck together. So it can work well. We're going to have to see what Cassandra can do. The reason why Rona isn't an A-side pick in general is because of this final pick. If you just go Kite against Rona, she has nothing. She can't deal much damage, and she's going to have to be basically going on to Cordovar, who is currently 1v1ing Excel quite easily, but he is now going to the jungle. Going to try and steal that with a chain, but Cordovar has not got boots. He could be in trouble.
Yep, and we see Cordovar again, jumped on, might be the first to fall, but now Rona in the back line will be instead, as we see Def2 picking up the kill and Blue City picking up a follow-up kill onto that of Arden, leaving only Revenger X on that Celeste alive up in lane. And yeah, so I mean, a good start for them. They get 2 kills to their name, and they're going to be able to pick up this mid camp. And I didn't even look at Reza. Reza going to the backs of the enemy.
No, they did Rona, clearly. Cassandra's having none of it. She's going to lane to gank. That futility of life was so big for Cordovar. He was low, got 3 chains, and then it's like, right, guys, let's just fight. I'm going to be fine. Like, he's low now, but he might fall.
Yep, and we do see that Celeste going to be able to pick up the kill onto Cordovar, and this was kind of a trouble that we saw for Cordovar in the previous fight, taking a lot of damage being up in that front line. It's a dangerous position to put yourself in, and until your team really commit to those team fights, it's going to be tough to get that futility of life and get that tankiness for yourself.
Bluxty being so aggressive, taking away the entire jungle of Cassandra. Cassandra is just like, oh, see, you stole my farm. Cassandra's very annoyed. And Reza just got his entire jungle as well to try and clear. Cassandra going for the lane pressure, then going for a backwards rotation has really mucked up her CS. 4 CS to the 15 of Bluxty. Bluxty will even be at this Elder Tree in time to try and contest it. If he steals this away, he'll be level 4 with Cassandra level 2 and have a healing buff. Impunity looking really good. Bluxty doesn't care. He doesn't want the Elder. He wants the Rona. He's going to force her into the fight over the wall. So that's an easy Elder Tree and secure. And Bluxty's going to go to the backs. Rona's going to get one of them definitely, and maybe even the second. But Bluxty is so aggressive on this res. It's lovely to see.
Yeah, and Cassandra able to secure them both, but Blue City catches them out. It might be the end of them. Cassandra going solo, using Into the Fray to get out there at the last second. Arden might be up to body block, or at least steal this one away from that Reza, and it looks like he manages to do so. But meanwhile, we look up to Def2 in this lane, pushing down the turret, already under half health, and he's sitting at 33 farm. Over to Revenger X, only sitting back at 22, so a fair bit ahead, and they're going to get it. Def2 showing he doesn't need a sword to push first turret early, but they will pay the price once again. A bit of a deja vu moment for the side of Impunity, perhaps, but Reza on this backline still fairly healthy. Cordovar
wants to go in
on the front line. They will die. Blue City, you're right, still sitting around waiting for the moment, but might have overstayed that welcome. And no, just going to be up to back off and perhaps wait for that healing triad to come up and steal it away from Cassandra again.
Get the backs as well. Bluxty is so aggressive. I love it on this Reza. He's going for the backs. He hasn't even touched
his jungle, has he?
He's got one rotation so that Rona couldn't, but Bluxty may be in trouble. Vox gets the Ardno, and now what's he going to do? What's the play?
Revenger X going so low, and they're going to try get out of this one. Cassandra on the chase, might be up to find Blue City, but Cordovar gets the chain off. He's going to be able to use the Torment if he needed to save Blue City's life. So Cordovar can always put himself in that position to give up his life for his team, especially with Blue City getting so far ahead in that early game, taking so much farm away from that Rona. You wouldn't want him to die now and then Rona just be able to rotate and take all that back, but Blue City able to make the escape, making the clear on his own jungle, and we can see a fair gold lead for the side of Impunity, 4 minutes 40 in, seeing at 10.9k over to 9.1k, so doing fairly well for themselves, even though they didn't pick up the sword. And that's why I love when Def2 just somehow managed to, they gave him the opportunity technically, they just let Def2 stand there, and he took the first turret.
Yeah, that was Reza being so aggressive in the jungle, which allowed Def2 to be aggressive in lane, because what happened is Revenger X rotated down and Def2 decided not to, because he thought with the minion candy wave he could get the turret, and he could. Bluxty level 6, Cassandra level 4, sorry, and so now Bluxty is so aggressive, he can just do what he wants. He can ultimate away. If he gets caught out. He could try and get a Crystal Sentry charge. That Trinity he really wants it, but it hasn't spawned yet. And the Vendrex can clear this wave. I think Impunity really want to fight, but without this Saw, they can't just push turret without taking a fight, taking a kill, or forcing Celeste out of lane. They're in a slightly worse position now. They could try and force gold by him, but it's only about half full, so they're gonna rotate back to their jungle and back off for a little bit.
Yep, and we do see just there isn't too much to look at now as the side of Impunity have this wave fairly pushed up and just the love control. They could go for early gold mine is the only other thing I could think of, but right now just trying to prepare for the next fight. You see Quarterboard just patiently waiting in that jungle, actually going to steal away Rona's healing tree and making it worse off for Rona at this point, sitting back at 19 CS while Blue City is up at 35. Revenger X starting to come back in the CS towards Def Q, but he's going to have this wave to push through, and we do see Blue City once again being so aggressive, as you mentioned, on this Reza, and it's really that power spike he gets after he picks up the Aftershock. He's able to do so much as long as he's able to land the basic attacks after those abilities.
Yeah, it really is massive that Scorcher and Troublemaker both synergize so well with Aftershock basic attacks. Rona's got her Serpent's Mask, and Celeste has got a Solar Storm, has got Vision to try and steal this gold mine away. When he's waiting, he's thrown it out. They're going to wait. Such smart plays from Impunity. Just let Celeste ult, don't take it, and then burst it down after that ultimate has been used. So Impunity, instead of trying to bait a fight around gold mine, they just took it, get the gold, a payout. Now they're looking for probably a sentry or for a team fight. Celeste could be out of position if Borderbar decides to boost him, but he hasn't got his ultimate.
Yep, and we see Blue City looking for the way onto backline. Finds herself on Cassandra first off. Going to use the Never Form Dare, but Vox going to be able to pick up a kill with a Resonance. Now working on that of XL7 for the Arden. And that brings up another point. This match, XL7 actually returning as previously. They did have a substitute, and now they have the old team back together. Perhaps they could pull something off going into this, and now Impunity working their way on the Crystal Sentry. It is looking tough, but if you compare it to that of last game, other than the fact of kills, at least they're not so behind in objectives just yet.
Yeah, the only one turret gone down. They've lost 2 sentry charges, I think, maybe first, I can't quite remember. But it's not as bad for 450 first. Celeste is being allowed to scale up. She's farming reasonably well, not fantastic, but pretty good considering that they're losing this early game. And Rona is struggling. There's no question Rona's massively behind Reza. But they can still survive. If they get to late game, Celeste is now level 8. So that overdriven heliogenesis really going to help against poking out. But the infusions from Impunity really important there to help them win that team fight. Get the entire jungle taken away from Rona. Just keep starving her as much as they can. And Bluxty, I hope he builds Broken Myth with this. I hope he doesn't build Dragon's Eye. We're going to go into a Dragon's Eye, which is not what I wanted, but it works in long team fights against Rona. I just think that they're going to build Aegis. Cassandra's building towards it already. Get that Broken Myth, get that Shield Pierce, and Def Q
is getting caught out, but he's able to kite back and pick up the kill onto Rona. That breaking point starting to put in work as well, and picks up the double kill, the triple. That's going to be the ace for Impunity. And what looked like Def Q really getting caught out there, a lot of CC being thrown down onto him and engage just onto Def Q on his own. What looked like at the start, he is just able to kite around on this box and really just put shame to them. It's very different hero to the immobile Saw pickup. You've got this very mobile hero, and in a way Def Q's still managing to have the same effectiveness.
Yeah, it looked like he was caught out. We all thought, oh yeah, Def Q's in a bad position here. He's being caught out. Quarterboard didn't even fountain. He didn't even think that Def Q was going to get low enough that he needed to fountain. He's like, nah, he'll be fine. I'm just going to get some chains. I'm going to heal myself up. Bluxy's going to burst you down with so much. And I'm wrong. It's not a Dragon's Eye pickup. It's a Shatterglass pickup from Bluxy. That's not as good once everyone hits level 12 and infuses. But at the moment, against Revenger X, that will do more. There's no question that Shatterglass gives more on Reza. But the problem is that the Aftershock proc on his Troublemaker and on his Scorcher does more with Broken Myth once everyone hits level 12. As long as they're infused, even if they haven't got an Aegis, Broken Myth just does more than Shatterglass. It's pretty simple on Reza, but for right now, Impunity are going to try and push this game out before Avenger X infuses, before he hits level 12, and it's going to do quite a lot of work, so we're going to have to see how this fight is going to break out.
Yep, Impunity pushing him once again. They're going to be able to get this Crystal Sentry before it even finds its way to its home, and that's going to be the Crystal Sentry eliminated. And with how aggressive Impunity are playing, I'm not surprised they're all about 10 minutes in, they're able to eliminate that Sentry. And Cassandra has been sitting at 20 CS for so long, it's just it's going to be so hard for 500 first. They need to use Cassandra basically as a body shield at this point. Cassandra just jumps in into the fray and hope that Revenger X is able to find the heliogenesis, the core collapse, the damage that they need, and the CC to really turn the fight around. But if we look over at the gold lead, it's almost getting towards that 10k gold lead point already, just at 11 minutes in, and we're 27.5k for the side of Impunity, 19.5. This could be Impunity looking for a fight. They're just clearing out vision now, but not afraid to move into the enemy's jungle. There's going to be the core collapse stunning them out, but wait for it goes off the back of it, and we see the Torment pulling back out, and he doesn't even get to finish the gauntlet before falling down, and they're just going in big. Blue City landing the damage onto Cassandra, should be able to pick up the kill, but Revender's keeping them alive fairly long. Bucks jumps in for the double kill. He's looking for the triple onto Revenger, and there's going to be the steal for the ace, as we see Blue City will pick it up for himself, however. But the Torment and the Trespass just keeping them there. It shows why Churnwalker, when played with such teamwork and coordination, is such a good roamer.
Yeah, Avenger X just got stuck. He was under his turret, between two turrets. Torment gets pulled onto the edge of turret range. Echo it. Torment again. You're pulled within Vox range. Build up breaking point stacks with that Tyrant. Does crit. And Vox gets the turret. He's going to fall. He does not care. He wanted to trade his life for it, but not quite able to do so. And that's similar to what we saw DefQ do on Saw. This is his playstyle. Is I'm just going to push. I'm going to get objectives. Even if I die, it's worth it. What just pulling that gold mine all over the place. Luke's able to pick it up. I really hope he gets that broken myth. It's great against Cassandra, even against Revenger X. Once he gets level 12 infusion, it's worth it, because the more crystal power you have, the more worth it Shield Pierce becomes. But maybe he's going to go for something else. DefQ's just got so much damage. They're so far ahead at this point, the builds aren't that important.
Yeah, and if we do happen to look over to those items at this point, because they have hit basically that 10k gold lead right now, sitting at 32.8 gold over to 23.3, and they've got, when we look at DefQ, he's able to have three main tier 3 items of that, the Breaking Point, Poison Shiv, and Tyrant's Monocle. And whereas we see Revenger X is matching that with the Frostburn Eve and Dragon's Eye, the only problem there so much more squishy, because DefQ meanwhile managed to get tier 3 boots and get that of the Aegis, which is going to help him out so much more, and he's infused on top of that. So it shows that even though tier 3 item wise Revenger X isn't doing too bad and they're still there, look over at Cassandra, who's still sitting back at the Serpent's Mask, and then you'll start to feel sorry.
Yeah, I think the high performing on Revenger X is the aim. Cassandra has now got up from 20 to 30 on CS, so that's good. He's still 50 CS behind Fluxity in the jungle, and Celeste is 30 CS behind DefQ in the lane, moving up towards about 35-40 now, which is a big struggle. Impunity, they want to do what they did last game, finish before Kraken. DefQ jumping in.
Yeah, Quartervore on that front line, but Blue City jumping in alongside him. There's going to be the hook and chain. They only have it onto Exile at the moment, just using the Torment to keep them there. But he finds it onto Revenger, uses the Trespass instantly. Are they able to pick up a kill off it? Not quite. There's going to be Cassandra diving into the thick of it with into the fray. There's the core collapse. Does stun out Blue City, but meanwhile, Vox picking up the double kill on the rest of the team of 500 first, and Blue City going to be up to find the duel against Revenger X. And now they're going to be looking for the game. They take one turret, they're working on the second, and the crystal is more than likely to fall into their hands.
Well played, Impunity. The Churnwalker pick in both games, giving them the victory before 15 minutes in both games. That's really impressive stuff to see. DefQ playing that Vox superbly well, kind of similar to how he played the Saw, but with so much more kite, so much more dive as well. Revenger X going glass cannon. As soon as he got caught out by someone, he was going to fall. Fluxity with 3.5 damage items at the end of that game, dealing so much more than Rona with one measly Serpent's Mask for damage. And a heavy steal for good luck, trying to build towards breaking point. But really, Impunity just steals so much jungle and had